All right, guys, so we're about 6 days away from NFL free agency, and the news and rumors just keep rolling. We got some speculation on Devontae Adams, recently released cornerback Darius Slay, plus another wide receiver, Tutu Atwell, named to be a fit for the Baltimore Ravens. An update on Ronnie Stanley, man, and P.O Box sends out some cryptic tweets that could be spelling some trades and other things, man. So welcome in to another episode of Ravens Reports. It's your guy Noah here with For the Flock, as always, bringing you guys our top 5 news reports and storylines coming out of our Baltimore Ravens today. So we're gonna go rapid fire through these updates and just get you all of your Ravens news. And then tomorrow we'll have another mock draft for you guys, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you got your subscribe and notification bell on. And if you've been getting value out of these episodes of Ravens Reports, man, make sure to hit the like button. Let's dive into the content. At number 1, we've got some weird cryptic tweet stuff going on with the P.O Box. He just put out these 2 tweets on February 28th and March 1st. He said, first, with the peace sign like a deuces. Now, that could be like anything, but people, Ravens fans are saying, hey, he's saying bye to the Ravens. And then he had another tweet that said, man, I hope not, but God's plan always wins. So, like, back-to-back days where there's some cryptic stuff going on after not tweeting for 3 years. His last tweet was in 2022. Now, this reminded me of a situation where the Baltimore Ravens traded Marquise Brown, former first-round pick, in the final year of his deal before he hit free agency, because the Ravens, they know if they're going to move on from someone who's a high-caliber player, they want to get some draft capital in return. Now, of course, people are linking him to go to the Browns for as part of a Myles Garrett package, or for to the Cowboys as part of a Micah Parsons package. But man, you just never know what Eric DeCosta could have up his sleeve. Let me know what you guys think about those tweets in the comments section below. And if you think he could be part of a trade package to bring in a star pass rusher or another type of high caliber player, let me know what you guys think. At number 2, speaking of free agency right around the corner, it's reported by Jeremy Fowler that the Baltimore Ravens are close to a contract extension with Ronnie Stanley. They're trying to get it done in the coming days, specifically before the legal tampering period opens on March 10th, just around the corner, because it's reported that the New England Patriots will have serious interest in Ronnie Stanley and will be pursuing him if he hits free agency. Now, it's reported this deal could be anywhere from $20 to $24 million per year between the Ravens and Ronnie Stanley, because he will definitely have interest in the free agent market. And I think even if you have to overpay a little bit more than what you want to, that locking up Ronnie Stanley will allow the Baltimore Ravens to go best player available in the draft and not draft based off a need, because you need a left tackle. You can't roll into a season without a left tackle. That means the Ravens could have to reach in the first or second round to grab their guy, to grab a left tackle that they need to start, or have to sign a guy out of desperate need in free agency. You don't want to put yourself in that situation. So the Baltimore Ravens locking up Ronnie Stanley before free agency and before the draft, I think would open them up to make a splash in free agency for a guy that they want, and to go BPA for guys in the draft. Now, it's also reported during the combine that several teams were talking to Fowler about a couple of free agents for the Ravens who we expected to kind of be gone. Those 2 guys are Patrick McCarry and Brandon Stephens. Brandon Stephens started at outside corner for the Baltimore Ravens for most of the season, but he also got some action at safety and nickel cornerback. So Brandon Stephens, let's not act like he didn't have some good times, some good moments here in Baltimore. I remember there was a time he locked down Jamar Chase for an entire game. I remember in 2023, he was one of the best corners in the NFL, but then had a massive drop-off in 2024 where teams were just really going after him, picking on him because of his inability to get his head around the football sometimes. And despite those plays that were made, man, he was always in really tight coverage, like in the hip pocket. So teams are going to see his athletic ability, his competition, the good year he had in 2023, and they're going to want to try to duplicate that, and they're going to find some value, and he'll definitely have some suitors and some value in free agency. I think, the Ravens and them will move on, though, and they're going to put their chips in the Nate Wiggins basket. Marlon Humphrey's returning. TJ Tampa, will be in his second year and should be healthy coming into this year. Jalen Armour Davis will be entering the final year of his rookie contract. So the Ravens got options, but they're definitely going to have to bring in a guy or two in the draft and or free agency to shore up that position depth-wise. And at number 3, one guy that could be brought in free agency to shore up that position depth-wise is Darius Slay. Darius Slay almost came to the Baltimore Ravens a few years ago, but he got a last-minute phone call in which they convinced him to go to Philly. Now, Darius Slay and Marlon Humphrey and Nate Wiggins and Kyle Hamilton could be a really, really nice combination. Darius Slay had a pretty decent year last year, middle of the pack as far as coverage grade according to PFF. He is definitely getting older. You know, he's old for a corner, but if he can still contribute and the Ravens can find the right role for him and he can play that role and provide depth at the right price, I think this will be a good free agency fit because he was still playing some good football and had some moments this last year. At number 4, speaking of some secondary guys and some free agency, Bleacher Report put out an article. Gary Davenport suggested the Baltimore Ravens should trade for Tyrann Mathieu. Here's what he had to say. The New Orleans Saints have to do something to alleviate the worst salary cap situation in the NFL. They're $47 million over the cap. Tyrann Mathieu will be 33 when the year begins. His last All-Pro came in 2020. Simply put, he's not the player he once was, but the LSU product is still a versatile defensive back who can play multiple positions and posted a rock-solid passer rating against of 76.4 last season. The Honey Badger has remained durable, playing in every game since 2021. He still knows how to make plays. 62 tackles, 3 interceptions, 7 pass breakups, and a couple of forced fumbles last season is a great starting point. Forcing turnovers, we talked about this, guys, especially in big games, has seemingly eluded Baltimore, and Matthew's knack for making big plays would be huge. Yes, I'm not saying it would have to be Tyrann Mathieu, but we do need another veteran that can make big plays in big moments and help force turnovers for Lamar Jackson. If you guys look at the most successful quarterbacks in the playoffs the last few years, like guys like Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes, and you can even look at Josh Allen, how many turnovers were forced by their defense where they gave the ball back to their quarterback. They got the ball almost twice as much as they turned the ball over as far as the ratio. And the Baltimore Ravens have the worst turnover ratio in NFL history since Lamar Jackson has been a quarterback because the defense has not forced any turnovers to give the ball back to Lamar in the offense. And it's been a problem in the playoffs. They create plays, make turnovers in the regular season, but when it comes to the playoffs, the defense, they have not been able to create those big game-changing plays. A couple of other free agents that are named as fits here. Edge defender Azeez Ojulari, who was a player that a lot of fans wanted the Ravens to trade for, and wide receiver in Tutu Atwell, who played for the Rams. He's a Louisville product. You know, he's got the connection with Lamar there. And also a Florida native. So, you know, Lamar likes his Florida boys. He's a free agent. He's coming off a season where he had 42 catches for 562 yards and averaged 13.4 yards per catch. He has been a deep threat and a playmaker for the Rams coming up in big-time moments. So, another guy to keep your eye out for. You guys know I'm a fan of Darius Slayton in free agency. I would also be a fan of Elijah Moore, Keenan Allen, Tutu Atwell. One of these free agents that would be a nice depth piece. The Ravens just need more bodies in that room. It's Bate, it's Flowers, it's second-year player Devontae Walker. After that, man, you don't have any depth. You need some more depth and a guy that can be a competent wide receiver 2 or 3 if one of these guys goes down. Which brings us to the Davante Adams trade speculation. It's reported that the Jets are putting him out there, available. Now, if they don't find a trade partner, it's reported that they're going to release Davante Adams. The same thing was reported for Deebo Samuel before he was traded to the Washington Commanders for a 5th-round pick. So if you're wondering what the trade capital would be, it's probably around a 5th or a 6th-round pick, similar to what Deebo's trade market would be. Could the Ravens make it work financially? Yes. Will they pull the trigger and part ways with draft capital right before the draft? Probably not. I don't know. But the Ravens definitely will be adding some wide receivers in the coming months via free agency, maybe trade, and definitely in the draft, man. So smash the like button if you got any value out of today's content, man. I love you guys. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section below. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next video.
Ray, when he wasn't looking, he ran me over.